Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing The Evil Within 2 for the PS4. The Evil Within 2 is a survival horror game developed by Tango Gameworks. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, who is tasked with finding a missing child in a surreal and twisted realm. So what is it like to play? Well, the game is split into two distinct phases of play, sneaking around exploring the landscape or getting into combat situations with ranged or melee weapons. During exploration, you'll be scavenging for loot and resources. Ammo is also hard to find, so every shot counts. Structurally, it's a nice balance with long and tense sections where you're exploring the dark and dingy game world, fighting off ghoulish monstrosities, solving basic puzzles and listening out for your communicator. A communicator, you say? What's that? Well, the device works as a way of tuning into spirit echoes of sorts. As you hold the device, you can trace signals, of which there are many. Main story signals or side signals. How many you choose to investigate is up to you, but they all come with their own rewards, but also deadly risks. It's really cool, as an aspect of a game. It's like you're a ghost hunter tracing these malevolent spirits via otherworld voice communication, and some of them are pretty chilling. But you'll usually end up in combat as you follow these signals, and combat, I'd say, it's pretty well handled. The guns, of which there are many, can be upgraded at workbenches, and every enemy you kill leaves a brain goo, which can be used as an odd contraption to level up your core stats like combat, health and stealth. In terms of the story, it's a surreal and mysterious conspiracy that slowly unravels one macabre moment at a time. Very well paced, and it's definitely one that kept me engaged throughout with new revelations and plot twists. The game world is broken down into fragments that you have to navigate via surreal means. In these areas you'll find safe houses where other survivors will be able to chat with you, to develop the story. You'll find workbenches that you can use to modify loadout, or you can just stop by for a cup of coffee to steady your nerves. It's a very creepy world on the whole, dark, menacing and full of all manner of weird and wonderful creatures. I'd say it's more expansive than the first game and a lot more focused. Here the world, it feels like it has a continuity, with it being broken into fragments that you travel across. The enemies were varied and interesting, but the bosses, I would say, were a bit of a disappointment compared to the superior versions in the original. They never really scared me in this game. They were fun to fight, don't get me wrong, but the first game bosses I think are just much better. Visually, it's a wonderful game with a rich visual atmosphere. It uses light brilliantly and has some wonderful visual flourishes that really bring the horror to life. The game features a first-person mode. That's very atmospheric, but I'd say it's perhaps not the best for the high-octane combat. It's good for just wandering though. Sound, a masterclass with creepy, tense and atmospheric music and sound throughout. Good and bad points? The good points. The game structure is superb with a good story arc and well-paced progression. The game world felt more connected and coherent. The enemy variety was pretty good and the weapons are cool. Visually, it's fantastic and the music and sound effects add to the creepiness. Bad points. The bosses, I would say, weren't very scary, a bit lackluster compared to the first game, and some of the narrative elements were a bit of a confused mess, and there is a little bit of repetition as well. So, verdicts. The Evil Within 2 is a wonderful example of how to do survival horror right. The game carries off a rich and foreboding atmosphere throughout, which really adds to the whole game experience. I'd also say structurally, it's a vast improvement on the first game in terms of the game world and the progression. The story was very good, combat was tense, and I really enjoyed it. The only thing I was disappointed with was that it was nowhere near as scary as the first game, and the boss fights again, enjoyable, but not creepy at all. But despite this little gripe, this is really what a good sequel should be, a steady progression from its predecessor which improves on almost everything. A very good game and a must for horror fans. Scoring, Evil Within 2 gets 8.5 out of 10. Okay, that's the review. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.